Tony, how's your squad looking for the match against Man U?
We've got one or two little knocks and niggles, and we'll assess them this afternoon. They're training this afternoon. We'll do a light session this afternoon, and then see how they get through that, and then we'll pick the team from there.
Can you give us
an indication
as to who's?
Yeah, it's just a couple who have got little knocks. I think they'll all want to play, but then it's just picking the ones that we think will be right for us in a 3-game week, against a team that's going to make you work for the ball. So we're going to have to pick players who right on it fitness-wise as well as anything else.
Is Johnny Evans back in contention?
Well, again, Johnny's one of the ones that we won't. Yeah,
okay.
We won't know until later on today.
Okay, you won 4 of the last 6 in the Premier League. Can you maintain that kind of form?
Well, we've got a tough task tomorrow. We've been looking through the video clippings of United, and they've drawn 4 or 5 games that they could easily have won. And on another given day, if they'd have won those games, they could have been up first or second in the Premiership. They look a formidable side at the moment, and I don't think he's too far away from getting most probably the team that he wants. So it's going to be a massive challenge tomorrow for us. But
things are going well. I mean, Salomon Rondon scored a hat-trick in midweek. Listen, he's a tall guy, but metaphorically, is he a little bit taller in training?
Confidence goals. Strikers live off confidence and live off scoring goals. So he's at the moment he's full of it. But he's been fantastic for us this year. Took him a while to settle down last year, but he's come back this year, and his family's more settled. I think everything around him, the social scene is much more settled for the lad, and he's grown with the group. He speaks better English. His children are settled in school. His wife's happier, so everything around him has settled down, and he's been able to concentrate and focus really on his football.
And is that, in your view, what's made the difference?
I think sometimes, I think sometimes we expect people to come into the country, and sometimes it happens, and they hit the ground running when it's completely different, to what they're used to. Whether it's the weather, whether it's the food, whether it's the games, the competitiveness of the Premiership, it is different, and you have to give them time to settle. And we've done our best. The football club are very, very good, and have been very, very good in helping Solomon every way.
This is his second season. I don't know. Does he remind you of anyone in the way that he plays?
No, not really. He's Salomon Rondon, and he's got power, he's got pace, he scores goals, and he works very, very hard. I think the group were, if you spoke to the group, that they really like him because of the effort he puts in as well, not just in making and creating goals for himself, but working for the team.
How good can he be?
He's very good at the moment. So and he's a type of kid will be. You've got to drag him in after training, because he wants to practice and he wants to do things, and he works with the different coaches here every day on his finishing, on his touch. So he is, he's been very good, but he has to maintain it.
Do you set him a target?
No, not at all. The target for the group is to go out there and do the best we can against Manchester United, and we know how tough that's going to be.
He did get the winner for you against Manchester United in this fixture last season. How do you reflect on that match?
It was a different game as well, because Mata got sent off early, so we played against 10 men. United have played they're in 9 games unbeaten now, so we know how tough it's going to be, and we same as everybody, will give everybody the respect they deserve, and this is a top. I think they'll finish in the top 4, United, and he's got a settled team, more of a settled team now, more of an understanding, and it's going to be tough for us.
So you sense they've turned a corner, Manchester United?
Well, turn the corner. I'm watching the games, like I say, and the games that they've drawn, that people would have been surprised that they've drawn in. They've missed chance after chance after chance and dominated possession. And sometimes you have runs like that. Sometimes you have runs where you don't play well and win. And you nick through games. But United have played games where they haven't won games, but absolutely dominated the play and created lots and lots of chances. So. Jose's a top manager, so he'll know where they are better than I am. but I'm sure he'll be pleased with the form they're showing at the moment.
Did it surprise you that it perhaps took Jose Mourinho as long as it did to get things sorted then?
No, not at all. I think there was, if history has a way of repeating itself. If you have a look at Sir Matt Busby and what he left behind, and the managers, what was it, 4 or 5 managers who came in before Sir Alex stepped in, and then Sir Alex, it took him a couple of years really to change the culture and change the club around to what he wanted. And it's not easy following a very, very successful manager. It's not easy, and Jose's the 3rd manager in since Sir Alex has left, and what they've got to do now is stick with him, because he is a top manager and he will get it right.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic this week has been talking about the confidence that they have. I mean, is that a concern to you going into this match?
No, as I've just said, we've watched them, and they've got threats from everywhere. They've got whichever team he picks, and he's got a strong squad there. Whichever team he picks will pose us problems. But we're at home. It's a full house tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it. We really look forward to the challenge. Do
you sense that you have some momentum at the moment?
Yeah, of course we've got momentum, and we've played well, and we've scored lots of goals at home lately. So we'll look forward to the game, but we'll show Manchester United the respect that we show everybody else.
Would beating Manchester United be a real statement for West Brom?
Beating Swansea was a real statement for West Brom. You play 24 hours later than what they did, and it's sort of like the game, and no disrespect to Swansea, it'd be similar if it was ourselves. The game in between Chelsea and Manchester United is a difficult game for the players to get up for, and irrespective of what people say, that game was so important for us as a football club, and those 3 points were fantastic.
Can I just ask you about Saido Berahino?
Yes.
Where do things stand with him? Give us an update.
Yeah, he played under 23 game on Monday, and he needs more games. We need to get him more games, more game time, and fingers crossed, he'll stay with us. But the window opens again, and you just don't know what's going to happen.
How far away might he be from being involved, perhaps on a match day?
He most probably needs another couple of games before we could get him involved. We don't want to put him in and him pick an injury up or do something that will set him back again.
Finally, I mean, the club was fined this week for failing to control the players against Watford. Is that something you will speak to the players about?
No, I spoke to the players after the game about that, so they know you have to behave yourself, and there's strict rules, and the rules are there for everybody to see. So that we've broken the rules. I think the club have accepted the fine, and we move on.